for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're watching this live, jump into the chat. We will be replying to comments. If you're going to watch this on the playback, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this topic. We want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting this channel, watching the movie reviews, checking out the old lives. I haven't been going as live or uploading as much because I've been working hella crazy out here in Budapest. But this is your boy, Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, and I'm here with my beautiful, sexy, lovely wife. Say hi, boo.
Hi everyone, I'm Akdeniz and I'm from Turkey. So today we're gonna discuss some like very serious, dark things.
Yeah. And so this topic about Aaron Bushnell. Aaron Bushnell was I believe, 25-year-old white American who was in the Air Force, active duty, and he set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy in the United States of America in Washington, D.C. about 2 days ago. I believe it was on Monday or Sunday or something like that. I forgot. I first heard about this story when I was getting ready to go to work. I was watching France 24, and I saw the story pop up on the bottom of the news screen, right? And I thought, okay, that's a crazy story. I'm surprised that's not the first thing I see uh, on the news. But I didn't think that it would be such a big deal because I didn't think there would be video of it. There was another woman, I believe, in Atlanta who set herself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy in America, but it wasn't a big story. But this one was different because people only care when they see it. People only care when they see the carnage. For a lot of people, this is a very bad thing to see. And Acti, how did you react when you first heard the story, saw it? What did you think about it?
Immolation, because this is something that I really haven't seen like in Turkish media. And actually, like just last hour, I discovered in the past decade there has been a lot of like people who self-immolated in Turkey because of it, like economical issues, economical injustice, and things like that. But it's not something that's very like shown in our media, and also it's not like in our history as well. So the my first thought was like, why would he do that? Like, no, like you're so young, don't kill yourself because of this. I thought like this is not gonna really like change anything, and it's just like self harm or like suicide or something like that. But I do have to say, like, as I read about it and, heard about it from other friends, like I talked to one of my friends who's Tunisian, and this is also something that happened in their country that started a revolution. I kind of changed my feelings toward it a little bit, I would say.
Okay, interesting that you changed your feelings. So now you feel like it's a right thing to do, or it's more noble.
It's not a right thing to do because we shouldn't like glorify these type of things, because also like it's seen in the history when this happens there are a lot of imitations of the same thing, and we don't want people like setting themselves on fire continuously, or we don't want masses of people doing it. So I wouldn't say like I encourage it or it's the right thing to do, but I do think it's a very noble thing to do. Specifically, like in this case, this is a guy from another country. It's a white guy. It's not a Muslim guy. Like how come he was so able to like emphasize and feel so, bad about the whole situation that he would do something like this? It's I can't help it but to see it as a noble thing.
Mm. That's hard for me to say. A part of me wants to say it is noble, and then another part of me wants to say that it's vain. It's way out. It's it's causing a lot of conflict in me because it's hard for me to say self-immolation is a good type of protest when you feel like the world doesn't give you options and the only way to gain attention for your issue is to harm yourself, and not also see suicide bombing as also the same sort of thing as well. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Because the idea of uh, how can I say this? We When you feel powerless, when you feel like there's nothing else that you can do, you do things like what Hamas did, which is break the gates, go into Israel, kill as many civilians as you can, just because you feel like there's no way for the Gazan people to get freedom, right? So when you're faced with those sort of options, of course you're going to go to that sort of self-harm, right? And it's also the same, I think, in the minds of the suicide bomber, right? You're facing off against, American troops in Iraq. So the only thing we can do is blow ourselves up by running at the soldiers, right? I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't, it's hard for me to find one of them being good and the other one being bad when I feel like they're both equally,
Yeah, of course. Like, there's this like Wikipedia page of list of all the political self-immolations, and I went through the whole list out of curiosity because I think this is like a very interesting, human thing. Like, it's related to psychology, it's related to politics, and I saw that like in early 2000 there were a lot of like German people who did this because they were against the Islamification of Germany. So
okay, that's
it's not like,
crazy.
I know, so it's not like it's always done for a noble thing, or it's
Hmm.
not always done like solely for political reasons. There could be like, a mental health issues involved, but then mental health is not always involved either. So
Hmm.
I don't know, like when I rewatched the video again just to see like how he was talking and like his mood and stuff like that. And Aaron is just like very calm and very like sure of himself, and he doesn't look like the type of guy that has any psychopathology. And that might be the case, but like I don't think that's what people should focus on in this case, at least, because he makes his intentions very clear of why he did it.
I would argue Aaron definitely was crazy. You have to be crazy to do some stuff like that. I don't care if he was speaking normal and stuff like that. And when I use the word crazy, I don't mean the person is psychotic or schizophrenic. I mean crazy as in they're a divergent thinker. They have cognitive flexibility that most of us don't have. And
Mhm.
Martin Luther King was crazy. Gandhi was crazy. Every freedom fighter was crazy. Because they're thinking outside the box. They're thinking that the impossible is possible, right? So I think Aaron definitely was crazy. I'm not going to say, oh, no, we shouldn't focus on that. You have to be crazy to burn yourself alive for a place that, has no bearing on you, really, if that makes sense.
Yes, a little bit. I do agree. Like there could be PTSD or something that he's seen in the army that also like triggered his, actions. But then also you have to remember he probably wouldn't do this if there wasn't a conflict like this, or if United States, like his government, were responding differently to this, war and this genocide. He
Right.
probably wouldn't have done it. So you can't solely say like this happened because he was like mentally unstable.
Right. No, I don't believe he was mentally unstable. I believe he was crazy, but he also was morally, incensed. He felt a moral obligation to do something. And I don't think those two things are different, right? Like you can have a sane mind about morality, but also be insane on what you want to do, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So that's my opinion about Aaron's like mental capacity. I don't believe anything has come out in the records that he, had mental problems in the military. But one of the things I do think that set him off, and I sent this to you in a video, is that he did get the orders to go to Israel. He was about to be deployed to go to, the Middle East. And maybe as a person in the Air Force, he knows what the US is capable of, right? Like if you're a part of the beast, you see that the beast is capable of setting the whole world ablaze. And I think that's possibly why he also felt this, guilt that was in him. I do think he was feeling a lot of guilt and a lot of a lot of things that a lot of people who are on the side of the Palestinians feel. They feel like a moral obligation to do something because they're seeing something so tragic happen in front of them. But I don't know, man. I still don't think it was. I don't know, because if I say Aaron is wrong, then I also have to say Hamas is wrong too. And do I want to go there? I don't know, man. Do I really want to go there?
But you don't.
do, do I condemn Hamas? I don't. I've never once said this. Listen, everybody who's been following my content, you know that I'm like, I don't really actually care about the Palestinian or Israeli conflict because there are black people on both sides of this conflict who are going to get the short end of the stick no matter who wins. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I only really care about what the outcome will be. And in this case, wondering about Hamas's strategy, like how they did it, I'm wondering how this will lead to the outcome that they want. And that's the same thing with Aaron too. What outcome do we actually want from this? I don't know, man. I don't
I
know.
mean,
There's so many ideas to work through.
I don't know like how effective like this thing is going to be, and I don't think like Aaron knew it either, and maybe like one of the reasons that he decided to do this was just like you said, he was deployed to go to like Israel, to Middle East, and he just couldn't like do that, knowing what could have happened, what could he have seen there, or what could like he had to do there, so he just couldn't like um face that, and that's maybe why he did it. And he maybe like he thought, yeah, this could impact a lot of things, but also it could not at the same time, because
Hmm.
yeah, just like we talked about like in Tunisia, that's self-immolation act. What was the guy's name, can you tell me?
Bouazizi.
Bouazizi's like a protest, like sparked a revolution, and not even only in Tunisia but in a lot of like other countries. But then there are like hundreds of other cases where nothing happened really.
Hmm.
So you can never know that, but I do think like United States government do have to like they have to recognize that this happened, and they do have to probably like make a statement about it. I don't know
Yeah.
what the statement will be, and I think that's going to like really affect the elections as well.
Right. Absolutely. Nelson Moreno jumped into the comments. He said, "Let's go there." I think I might go there. If you're watching this live stream and you're expecting me to give like a clear, honest take, I don't have a clear, honest take yet because the ideas I'm still working out in my head. It's very confusing for me. I don't know exactly where how I feel. You know what I mean? I'm working through the ideas with Acti right now. Lucas P jumped into the chat. He said, "Can I get $5, please?" Uh, I wish I had $5 to give you, man. I don't know, man. Maybe drop the PayPal or something. Drop your link. I might shoot you $5. But if you're a part of Hamas, I can't give you $5.
Wow.
But the thing that you just said about Aaron, the interesting thing, his last tweet, I believe, he said something like, many Americans or many people like to imagine that if I were back in slavery times, or if I were back in Jim Crow times, if I were back in the times when women were oppressed, I would do something different. But if you really want to know what you would do back then, just look at what you're doing right now. That's like
Yeah.
essentially what his tweet said. And that was profound for me. You know what I mean? Because I think the interesting thing about Aaron, and I think a lot of people are talking about this, is the fact that he is a white man. And you brought it up before I did. As a white person, he had all this privilege to not even care about what happens in Palestine. He's a part of the US military. He could have just gone there, done his job, got his check, worked there for the next 15, 20 years, retired, and had no worry about it, right? So I do think there is something noble about somebody who gives up their privilege and the opportunity to not just, ignore the world's problems. And I do think there is something very, very admirable about that. But again, the idea of killing yourself for it, I don't know, because the thing is, for me, there are ideas that I am willing to die over, right? Like if I could kill myself right now to end racism and white supremacy, I would, right? But
Hmm.
do I want to risk it by burning myself alive? I don't know. Maybe we could deal with more racism.
Well, one of the cases that I read was that, which is like kind of a weird place, but I guess not. There was a lady, a black lady, and I believe from her name, I thought maybe she was African. Um, her she applied to for like a job idea or something like that, and even though she was like able to fulfill all of the requirements, the government didn't allow her to have that business, and she set herself on fire because of racial injustice in Luxembourg. But like, I don't even know, like, I've never heard about it. I don't even know like how racism is in Luxembourg. Like, it's a small country and a wealthy country. So yeah, like there has been, you know, self-immolations for racism as well.
Mm. I mean, anywhere there's old white people, old German white people, there's going to be racism. That's a given. That's a given. But Acti, is there anything you would set yourself on fire for?
um I don't know. Honestly, like it's when I first heard about Aaron, like I said in the beginning, I thought like that's so like stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you sacrifice yourself for that? And not that it's not noble, but maybe it's very hard for me to like empathize with him because I don't have those relationships with my country, at least, for because like I don't like anything that my country has been doing for the past 20 years. So I honestly don't see myself like setting fire from my country.
Mm.
um it's different when, like, yes, I felt bad when like the big earthquake happened in Turkey. I felt bad for like the people who got stuck there who didn't get help and stuff like that, but that's not the same thing. Like, that's something natural. And if innocent lives are in danger, am I going to stand up for them? Yes, but I'm probably not going to like set myself on fire. And honestly, right now I don't see anything that I would set myself, on fire. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, okay, this is gonna sound so bad, but maybe like, you know, if you okay, if you said, Acti, like, racism is gonna end for sure, for real, and but you have to set yourself fire with me, maybe that's the only thing I would set myself fire for, because I also think about like our kids and their future in this world. So that would be like for you and for my kids, basically, a little bit. I'm not 100%. That would be the closest thing of me like thinking of setting myself on fire.
Right, right, right. No, that's a noble thing, right? And I mean, those are issues that you and I care about,
Yeah,
profoundly and deeply. And I know you also care about femicide in Turkey, right? So,
yeah.
like, I was imagining, like, what if they passed another law? Like in Turkey, there's a law that you have to marry your rapist or something, right? What if
Not
they passed a law that's
it easier.
Yeah, what if they passed a law that said, a man who kills a woman can only get 5 years maximum, right? Like that would be horrible. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be upset about that. And I'm pretty sure you would be upset about that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But honestly, like, I'm just someone who prefers who believes in survival and getting through like these horrible things by like living and being happy and showing joy and showing like strength in front of these things, rather than
Mm,
giving up on my life. Honestly,
mm.
that's how I view like protest and I don't know, like standing up against something that don't approve of.
Right, right.
I feel like the biggest protest is sort of like living through it, and then also like living while you're protesting it as well.
Mm. I'm going to jump into the comments. Nelson Moreno said he had a more meaningful death than most people will ever have before they enter the void. That's another shot telling us that we need to watch Gaspar Noé's Enter the Void. I know. I know that's what Nelson Moreno is also alluding to. But yeah, I think definitely his life will have meaning. Like, he is now going to be a part of history. He's going to be on a Wikipedia page. Most people don't live and at least get a Wikipedia page, right?
Yeah.
Um, and he also joins the ranks of people who, are doing a lot to crash out for this Gaza Israel war. And I think that's also one of my first reactions. One of my first reactions to hearing about a man setting himself on fire was like, people are going crazy over this conflict that is so far and distant. Yes, he was in the military. Yes, he was about to go to Israel. But a video I've been meaning to do on my channel a lot has been people losing their jobs, getting beat up, getting fired, people, getting harassed online or harassed in person over the conflict, and they have nothing to do with it, especially Black people. There have been too many Black people who have lost opportunities and jobs because they are protesting for one side or the other. And I don't feel like, once again, this is a conflict that we as Black people should be so deeply invested in, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying?
And also, like, yeah, like media is so selective in certain things that they want to support, because I also saw that just in November 8th, someone also like set himself on fire for the, all the terrible things that are happening in Congo.
Mm.
The name is unknown, but like that's also something that's like very recent, that's like currently still going on. But while I support Palestine, while I support, like, the social protests that are going on in social media and stuff like that, I also do think like we have to broaden our perspectives on everything that's going on, because yeah, anything will, like, you know helping Congo will help Palestine, and vice versa. Helping Palestine will help Congo a little bit more, because
I disagree. I disagree. Absolutely, totally disagree. Helping Palestine helps Palestine. Helping Congo actually does help the world, because
mm,
anytime we can give justice to Black people, I feel like we give justice to everybody. But when other people gain justice, sometimes they don't reciprocate that to a whole other section of humanity. Congo is one of the places on earth where most of the resources for for our cell phones, our computers, the lights we have come from. Justice for the Congo, but justice for Palestine doesn't do anything but gain, more freedom for Palestinians. You get
mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I do understand. I do, like,
It's okay to disagree, Acty. You can
no,
disagree.
I know it's okay to disagree, but I do still think like like helping Palestinians might help Congo. I do think that, because when you're in a group that's been like that went through genocide or apartheid and things like that, then you grow a different like empathy towards those places that are going through the same thing, just like South Africa did with like taking it to court and things like that, because they know like how it is. And so maybe, I'm just saying, maybe like if Palestine is free, then maybe it could be also helping Congo as well, in that sense that Palestinians might also stand up for Congo. Hopefully.
For their own Black people in Gaza, in the West Bank. I'm gonna go to the comments right here. Nelson Moreno says, "I would shorten my life. I could marry a pure white European woman, preferably German." I don't know what you mean, Nelson. What are you trying to say? You would kill yourself to marry a white woman?
You're in the wrong channel.
I don't know. Nelson Moreno, you got to explain that comment. Dill Pickle Salad said, "What did y'all take today? I took Klonopins." I don't even know what Klonopins are. Actually, do you know?
No.
No? All right. Nelson Moreno then said, "Silence about Sudan proves that most." I do agree. Is more in people's face because of the consequences of it. I mean, Israel does have nuclear weapons, right? So anytime a country that has nuclear weapons is involved in a conflict, people are going to be more in tune to it and what's happening. But the silence about what's happening in Sudan, where the Arabs are literally killing Black people, and what's happening in the Congo, what's happening in Somalia, all the African conflicts, does show a sort of double standard. But I don't want to get off topic here about Aaron Bushnell. But do you have something you want to say?
No, nope.
No? Okay. Dill Pickle Salad said, "Hey, Orange Guy, not all Arabs are bad. Nobody said all Arabs are bad, but many Arabs do exhibit anti black racism, and many societies in the Arab world are anti black." Dill Pickle Salad says, "Some Arabs aren't racist." I think we just said that. Nelson Moreno said, "I'm loving all the black movies that you're reviewing lately, watching American Fiction today. Looking forward to that. We got to do that review as well." Anyway, back to Aaron Bushnell. So, Acti, I said, a lot of people are crashing out. I wanted to ask you, like, if you decided to protest here in Hungary for Palestine, right? And that is illegal. In Hungary, you cannot protest for Palestine. They made that a law. And you got kicked out of school. Would I be wrong to get mad at you because you decided to do that? Or is that even the right thing to do, to protest, knowing that you might get kicked out of school, kicked out of Hungary?
Mm, God, that's a hard question. Um, Honestly, like I don't think I would protest if I knew that I would kicked out if I get kicked out of school. um because I would still, like, I would still support Palestine and share stuff on social media, and I know that's like not helping at all, and I know that like how little effect it has in the general outcome. But it would, like, I'm not saying that, this is what I'm thinking of or planning to do in future, but I would just think that I would be more of use as a psychologist than school dropout, basically,
Mm-hmm.
to the world in general. And
Mm-hmm.
even though I stand up with Palestine, I that's just something that I wouldn't do, and you can call me selfish for that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, at the same time, just like you said, like, something like this were happening in my country, like, I don't know how many people would drop out from their school to protest for my country and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not trying to be like, an eye for an eye, but there are limitations of like what I would do. If I can do it, I will do it, but if I won't, I'm not going to go to that extreme, because I'm just like not, um at the same time, I can't relate to that sort of like nationalistic behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
But I think that brings up the question of like self-sacrifice. Like you say you care about Palestine, and I might say I care about some issue, but oh, now it comes to my personal life. Oh, I might get kicked out of school. I might lose my job. Might lose my home or future opportunities because I support this thing or because
yeah.
I want to protest for this thing. Does that then say that we're cowards because, we're not actually standing for our beliefs? Like, are we really the same people who would say, I would fight against slavery, but then if we were back then, we wouldn't do anything? You get what I'm saying?
I do think, yeah, some people could see it as being a coward, but I do think it's also like, I think, like, if you know the truth, or if you believe in some sort of truth, and one part is right, or one part, like, represents your beliefs, and you don't voice that, then yes, that's cowardice in my opinion. But not going to all the lengths, I don't think that's, being a coward really, because I also remember the times right after the coup, and with all the Taksim events that happened in Turkey, there were a lot of protests. And I was actually living in one of the most like liberal cities in Turkey, which is Izmir. But I was gonna go to Europe, and I had my visa like application and things like that. And at that time, because of the coup, like Turkey had very strict visa regulations, and most of them were getting denied. So I didn't go to the protests. Did I?
Mm,
Did I like still posted on social media, talked about it with my friends and things like that? Yes. Did I still voice my opinion in my circle? Yes, but I did not go to the protests, because also like it looked very scary as well, because they were like spraying people, people were getting injured, there were people who were like taken by the police and things like that. So I didn't really even do it from my country either. And
mm,
maybe, I would say like some Turkish people would name me as a coward. And honestly, I'm fine with that. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It gets very complicated when you're thinking about what's the best way to use your life to advocate for some cause, right? Because we from your tradition, from your background and my background, we have heroes who have died for a cause, right? Or they didn't purposely die, as in like they knew, like they didn't put themselves in that place, but it was just a part of the job. Like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nat Turner, all these heroes on my side, lost their life for what they believed in, and we elevate them. We look up and admire them. But
Mm,
on my side, we don't admire the guys who lived. We don't admire Farrakhan. We don't admire Jesse Jackson. We don't admire Al Sharpton, right? You're looking at like, who are those people? Exactly. These guys are just as important as Martin Luther King, Malcolm, and that sort of stuff. But because they lived, because they didn't, crash out, we don't see them as like heroes. You get what I'm saying? But I
yeah,
would argue that in a revolution or in a social movement or in any cause, you have the martyrs, and then you also have the scholars, you have the consistent warriors, and hell, not every soldier dies. There's probably a few guys who have been fighting in Ukraine since the beginning of the war 2 years ago, and they're still alive now. And even them, they're like, what the fuck? How are we living? You get what I'm saying? Like in every
yeah,
war, in every battle, in every conflict, you have the guys who make it, and then you have the guys who die in the line of fire, right? And the people who willingly sacrifice their life. So for me, I don't view you as a coward, and I don't view myself as a coward because I didn't take extreme action. Because with our lives, you can still take extreme action later, and you can still motivate a cause, be a part of a cause, participate in a cause or movement. That's my opinion. If you want to add
yeah.
anything on that.
I mean, yeah, I do agree. I mean, it is like hard. I would understand like it's hard for people to like, you know, believe that, oh yeah, like if I don't go to the process and I continue school, I can help like, war ridden like children later, or I can help people with PTSD and stuff like that. And yeah, I would understand like if people don't believe or don't think like I would care it when I graduated and things like that. But I would still say like at least even if I don't like go to Gaza and help those children physically or emotionally, I would still be a part of a generation that raises a better generation that doesn't allow for these things to happen. And for me, like that's like I said, I'm okay with that, and I don't necessarily like have the need to be remembered as in like through my name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying like people who do like I don't know self-immolation and things like that, like Aaron, they did it for like clout, or they did it just so they would be remembered and things like that. I'm not saying that, but yeah, it is a reality of this type of protest.
Absolutely. Gonna jump into the comments. Dill Pickle Salad said, to be honest, Orange Dude, I'm Arab and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm really from the South, so I'm blacker than you, and you sound like a Yankee. So, first and foremost, my name is not Orange Dude. My name is Simon. Respect me as such. So, call me Simon or Simon Hill or Mr. Hill. Uh, I'm Arab and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to all the Arabs because there's a ton of Arabs in New Orleans, and a lot of them are really dope. So shout out to DJ Khaled, his whole family. I shouted out Tawfiq Ajak and his family. Unfortunately, Tawfiq lost his life in the West Bank to the Zionist Israelis who killed an innocent Louisianian. So shout out to all the Arabs in Louisiana. I'm really from the South, so I'm blacker than you. So dill pickle salad. I wonder what being from the South, how does that make you black? What does blackness mean to you? I sound like a Yankee. I speak with an American accent. I speak like millions of Black Americans. I assume dill pickle salad that you have anti-black views and you think all Black people talk like characters from The Wire, or we're supposed to speak like 50 Cent on. Do you have anything you want to add on to that?
I just want to say that like if you're a person who likes black culture and adopts black culture, let's make you not a black person or and make you like ally. Okay, let's go with that. I would say, like, because so far, like, since the beginning of your channel, you do get these comments that are like, oh, we're black too, but they're not black, but just like associate with a lot of black culture, or because they have suffered in the history, they like associate them as like themselves as black. But let's not like call yourself black, but just be an ally instead of that. And
Right.
I think that would diminish like animosity between, like, these type of like conversations.
Right. And to be honest, I don't think Dill Pickle Salad views himself as an ally of black people. If he's an Arab in Louisiana, most likely his family is Lebanese, Jordanian, pardon, Iraqi or Syrian of some sort, and they own a liquor store. Behind bulletproof glass, they interact with black people and they treat us like animals. So Dill Pickle Salad's views of black people are probably very distorted because he lives in a community that is far away from the hood where his family peddles alcohol, drugs, and high fructose corn syrup and junk food to our people. So dill pickle salad is a gentrifier of the worst kind and probably comes from that background as well. And on top of that, his view of black culture is probably not, Langston Hughes, W.B. Du Bois, all of our writers, poets, thinkers, entrepreneurs. His view is probably 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, and Sagging Pants. Um, Nelson Moreno says, "Why does Hungary love Israel so much? Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of that has to do with white supremacy and white adjacency that Jews have with whiteness. Plus, there were a ton of Hungarian Jews who were killed during the Holocaust here in Hungary. So many of the European nations that gave up all their Jews, their fellow citizens, to the Nazis, a lot of them feel hella guilty. And the ironic thing is, though, that Viktor Orban does a lot of anti Semitism in his rhetoric a bit. So he hates on this guy called, oh God, George Soros. George Soros is one of the richest men in the world, and he happens to be a Jew from Hungary. And Viktor Orban has insulted George Soros a lot. And so,
But
yeah,
I
it's
I just
conflicting.
want to say that, like, I also heard from a lot of like Jewish people, but also like Arab people in my school that interacts with like Jewish people in Hungary, that most of them are anti like Zionists. So I don't know if that's really the case. Probably, possibly what they told me is that a lot of the Jewish people here in Hungary support Palestine.
Mm.
So
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So they're left wing Jews that are anti Zionist Jews. Interesting. I didn't know that. FXD says hi. Hi. Acty, say hi.
hi.
Nelson Moreno says people are only as good as the people around them. That's why racism is making a massive comeback, and it's important to inform and fight. I agree, and I think that goes to like what you were saying, Acty, about like you know you don't have to do what other people do to show protest, but you could do it in your own way. And I think Nelson Moreno is trying to comment on like how I fight white supremacy and anti-black racism. I don't protest in the street. I get on my channel and talk about it. I write about it. I think about it and try to put ideas out there. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, if everyone was a martyr, then there would be no martyrs. So, I can, as an average person who is trying to do the right thing, I can appreciate like heroes and martyrs, and rightful protesters. I can appreciate them, but I don't have to be exactly like them, or I don't have to do the same things that they do. I For me as a person, my morality comes from like the way I think, and
Mm,
how I like, project my thoughts into the world. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. Should I continue with the comments, or should we talk about Aaron? What do you think?
I mean, I guess finish the comments.
All right. I'm gonna do rapid fire responses to the comments, and then we'll get back to Aaron. Is that cool?
Yep.
All right. Dill Pickle Salad said black culture is Southern culture. Facts, absolutely facts. American culture is black culture. Southern values. There are no Southern values, though. The South has zero values. The South of the United States is the most hateful, racist, evil place on the planet. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. Donnie Williams says peace. Peace to Donnie Williams. He's the trillist. Nelson Moreno, Simon, could you do a video about Elon Musk pushing accounts that claim that race is real and they're genetic inferiors? Stuff is getting millions of views. Richest man in the world. Elon Musk is a product of apartheid South Africa, and Twitter is getting run into the ground. The only saving grace on Twitter, now known as X, is Simon and Acty movie reviews. That's why you need to subscribe. But for anybody who really believes that there are different races of people, that person will probably never be influenced or persuaded by biology, by science. Acty, I feel like you wanted to say something. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No, continue.
All right. Dill Pickle Salad said, "That's not me, LOL. You're assuming things about me." Dill Pickle Salad, when you come in here and say you identify as an Arab, but then you flex your proximity to blackness as in making you blacker than me, somehow, how am I not supposed to assume that you are an anti black racist? Only an anti black racist would say that because they live in one of the poorest cities in the poorest state in the nation, amongst a ton of black people, that therefore they are black too. Only an anti black racist would say that, or somebody with a limited scope of understanding what blackness is. So, Dill Pickle Salad, you are revealing yourself to be an anti black racist. Donnie Williams said, "Dill pickle salad." I agree with the Southern comment, as you should, Donnie, because Southern culture is American culture, but the South has no values. Dill pickle salad said, "Lower Ninth Ward Shorty." Okay, so because he is from the poorest part of America, in the slums of America, he thinks this somehow makes him black. Newsflash, everybody. I've been treated like a black man for 33 years of my life, and hopefully for the 34th when I turn 34 this year. Never been in poverty other than my adult life working as an English teacher. Didn't grow up in poverty. I don't come from a lineage of people who are ignorant or uneducated or uncultured. So, because you come from poverty, Dill Pickle Salad shows us what you think of black people. You think black people are poor, ignorant, like your ass. But Dill Pickle Salad, you're just a dirty, uncultured, uneducated, poor Arab by your own description. Donnie Williams knows what I'm talking about. Donnie Williams just agrees that Southern culture is American culture. Dill Pickle Salad, you're jealous of the South. How could I be jealous of the South when I chose not to fucking live there? I am jealous of the South that I come from. I am not jealous of the anti-black racism in Louisiana. Dill Pickle Salad is going on a tirade because he's getting exposed as a racist. I love how he just made assumptions about who I was just because I'm an Arab from New Orleans. I made assumptions based on what you wrote, sir. Notice that I have not gone at Nelson Moreno or Donnie Williams that way because these two don't say stuff like, "I am blacker than you." Only a white person who is anti black racist or somebody who is not black would say something like, "I am blacker than you because I live in poverty." I am blacker than you because I live in poverty. Think about that. Think about that. It seems like he's trying to tear me down because I'm from the South and he's not. I'm not from the South. Should I pull out my passport? Because there's Alabama written all over it, baby. I thought this whole convo was about fighting prejudice. LOL. Yes, we are talking about fighting prejudice, and dealing with you, Dill Pickle Salad, is fighting prejudice. And DJ Khaled from Miami, no, he is not. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. I wrote a whole script about him. The South is less divided than the North. Okay, Dill Pickle Salad is a he's a Arab who votes for Trump. And when Trump says he wants to kick out the Muslims and the Arabs, Dill Pickle Salad does a whole lot of explaining.
Okay, I think we can skip his comments. He's
No, I'm almost done.
okay.
We don't have that down here, bro. Number one, everybody, this is the last warning. If you call me bro in the comment section, in the live chat, you will get blocked. Do not call me bro. My name is Simon Hill. Call me Simon, Mr. Hill, or Simon Hill. But do not call me bro at all, period. I am not your brother. I am nobody's brother. All right. Dip Salad just revealed how intelligent he is by saying he doesn't vote. He doesn't vote. Well, I do, and I will vote for the person that will probably kick your people out. We got to send them back. I swear, we got to send back the immigrants who are coming into our country who are anti-black racists and who think that poverty is equated to blackness. We need to send y'all back to your country so you can get educated. Uh,
Actually, that's one of the like reparational things that Americans can do. Like they could set up a test, like
mhm,
how racist are you test, and then kind of like reject the applicants that are racist.
mhm,
You know,
mhm. All right. So
I don't.
Dill Pickle Salad said, "I'm not saying I'm black." You literally wrote it in the chat. You said you are blacker than me. as if you have people following you around the stores, as if you have not been hired for jobs because of the color of your skin, as if you get people writing the N word to you in your comment section on YouTube, as if you have had police pull guns on you after they pull you over, as if you've had women say, "How big is your dick, nigga?" All that sort of shit. Dill pickle salad, you are blacker than me because you live in poverty as an Arab immigrant in America. You're blacker than me. That was your whole point. You literally wrote that. So yes, you are saying that you're blacker than me, and yes, you are exposing yourself as an anti-black racist. And no, I am not being xenophobic by saying that I want the immigrants who are anti-black racists to bring their anti-black racism to a country built by black Americans. I would set myself on fire. I found out what I would set myself on fire for.
Stop.
I would set myself on fire to send back racist immigrants like dill pickle salad.
Like it's gonna solve racism. First, you should solve racism within America.
Right. All right. Let's go here. FXD said maturity in thinking, feelings, and actions becoming the judgment of people. Now, what is our task as humans? That's a very interesting qu- comment, but I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say, FXD. Actually, do you know?
Maturity in thinking, feelings, and actions becomes the judgment of people. So I'm guessing that he's trying to say, like, the more mature we think and feel and act, then people, like, we have better judgment of people. And now, what is our task as humans? So then,
Mm-hmm.
like, just be more mature. Is that what you're trying to say, FXD? So
Mm-hmm.
tell me if I'm right, and if that's what you're trying to say, I do agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
All right.
that's all I can say.
All right. I'm gonna keep on rapid firing through comments because this is actually a very active comment section right now. But let's all right, so Dill Pickle Salad said, I don't vote, LOL. That's funny in itself. If you don't vote and you oh God, that's embarrassing. Who would say that? That's like saying I don't read.
I will set myself on fire to stop Dill Pickle from commenting.
Yeah, that's really bad. I don't vote. That's like Kanye saying he doesn't read. Oh God. Nelson Moreno said, "Can I ask your wife why feminists hate men so much, calling them rapists and abusers, but worship male symbols of power and badass men?" Do you want to jump on that?
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want all people to acknowledge that yes, like good men, powerful men, men who stood up for very good things for humans, have also done very bad things to women, specifically their wives or, just the woman around them too. So I condemn all of them for doing that, but I can also like admire them for the good that they've done because I do believe no one human is perfect. Like, it's very cliche, but no one is perfect. So uh that is that. And I think also what is fascinating about, like, men who are powerful and, men who are, let's say, like MLK or Nelson Mandela or Ataturk, like in Turkey and things like that, um is that most of the time you like people would assume that because they are very noble humans, that they would probably be noble in other aspects of their lives too. So I think that's why we assume that, they would treat, if you're like fighting for, a group of people and fighting for their lives and their rights, then we would assume that you would also do the same thing for women.
Mm,
So I think that's the attraction. And then, yeah, there is a denial when it comes to, like, those characters. And there's a denial of what they have, gone through in their personal lives with their wives and things like that.
mm,
But not on me.
mm. Well, thank you, actually, for jumping on that. I still really don't understand what he's saying, but you made a very good point that men can be great, but also bad behind closed doors, right? And there are many
Yeah.
examples of that. Going back to Aaron Bushnell, because we're about to run out of time. This was only meant to be an hour-long stream, so I'm just going to say this. The thing is, this whole Israeli-Palestinian conflict is still driving the world insane since it happened on October 7th, and it's still raging on. And I do think there is a moral obligation for the Arabs of the world to really join hands and try to work this out, because this is their issue, honestly. Honestly, this is their issue. And the Arabs also have a lot of other issues to work out, such as how they treat women in their countries, how they treat other religious minorities in their countries, and also how they specifically treat the black people that live in Egypt, in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Libya, in Saudi Arabia, et cetera, et cetera. This is something that really needs to be dealt with, right? And what is happening in Palestine right now is them seeing that white supremacy does not care about how much they try to bleach their skin, straighten their hair, or be in proximity to whiteness, right? Because the white supremacists have said, guess whose side we're on? We're on the side of the people that are colonizing your land, killing your women, your children, bombing your hospitals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? This is a major issue. It's a major issue. Israel, I can agree that what is happening in genocide is genocide in Gaza. It's definitely genocide that's taking place in Gaza. Aaron deciding to give up his privilege and his life and all of his opportunities to fight for something moral is commendable. But it's hard for me to say that self-immolation, blowing yourself up over this conflict, um, actually will create better change in the world, because we live in a world where everybody is cynical. People are quick to go online and ridicule other people who do moral, upstanding things. And Aaron will probably just be forgotten in a week or so, right? And people will just ridicule his name, in my opinion. And this sort of action, I believe, also, even if you do it for moral purposes, can create negative consequences by people who copycat this and people who will then create other justifications for self harm as a form of protest, and also self harm that also includes violence with others, which is why I opened this live stream by talking about suicide bombing. I feel like if you're telling people, if you have no other option for fighting against some evil or injustice done to you than to hurt yourself, then you also open the door for people saying, yeah, the best thing for us to do as Gazans living, under siege is to break the gates and kill and slaughter every Israeli, right? As a Black American, I come from a tradition of people who have faced everything that the Palestinians have gone through for a much, much longer time, right? And in our history, all of our heroes, all of our martyrs were people who fought and wanted to live, because living is the most radical thing you can do if you are an oppressed minority, rather than killing yourself for it, killing yourself for your ideas, if that makes sense. I hope all of this makes sense. There's still a lot of conflicting ideas I have in my mind, but that's just generally how I feel about Aaron and everything. You have anything you want to say?
I just want to say that, like, yeah, I think we shouldn't glorify this event. I do think we shouldn't be like showing it everywhere, but because of social media, there is like that, you can find it anywhere and everywhere. And I just think if, you know, um when you put a footage like this on the internet, you don't know who it's going to reach to, and there could be like, I think in psychology it was like psychological contamination or something like that. So hopefully we won't see any other cases like this going forward. But I do think there's a lesson to be learned from what he did, and we should just like take those moral lessons and not the actual action as a lesson, and
Mm-hmm.
didn't like glorify it in social media. And sadly, just like you said, because the contents in social media are like spread so fast, they are digested so fast, and they're scrapped away. So
Mm-hmm.
like 2-3 months from now on, like people are probably gonna forget about him, and he's not gonna be like the topic of the news and things like that. But his family or the people who knew him are probably going to suffer from this for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
Mm-hmm.
imagine someone in your family setting themselves on fire.
Well, the thing is, his mother and father agreed for the footage to be shown on TV or in social media, but they had to blur it out. So it
Yeah,
seems like his family sort of like supports him to some degree.
I don't think they knew about it, because how can you know about this and then go through with it? But I would understand if they agreed to show it, because it's like what their son's legacy is. That's why their son did it.
Hmm.
So I would understand them like wanting to, show their son's message.
Hmm.
So yeah, like I don't think that's the same thing as like supporting suicide um protest.
Right, right. I mean, if our kid did something like that, how would you feel? And it was for a great cause too. Like they didn't just set themselves on fire because they were doing something stupid.
Still I would be devastated. Like it's still like losing your kid. So would I, if I know about it, would I prevent it? 100%. Yes, yes, I would prevent it. Like I would
Mhm.
probably like, admit my child to a psychological hospital just to prevent it, even though like my child might not have any psychological problems prior to this event.
Mm.
But yeah, I can't say I would be proud of him because the sadness would just take over. But I think at the end I would be proud of him, I guess, or her. But it's just like such a big sadness to lose your child, so I don't know. And
I would be proud. I would be proud if he did it for like George Floyd or Trayvon Martin, but I'd be pissed if it was for Gaza. I'd be pissed.
can I ask you one question before we end?
Go ahead.
If Aaron was a Black American, would you have different views of this event?
I'd be extremely pissed. I would be pissed off if Aaron was black. That's a very good question. I admire him because he is white. This might sound crazy. I admire Aaron for doing what he's doing primarily because he's a white boy. And my thing is the thing about the U.S. military. I have this stereotype in my mind that most of the young white men who do join at like 18, 19, they're not educated, they're not open-minded, they're blindly nationalistic, sometimes conservative Trump voting type people who come from rural parts of America. They're the very last types I expect to be like our oppressors. I believe his last words were like, our oppressors are hiding the truth about Gaza and the genocide we're doing here. Those are words a white boy from Kentucky I would never expect him to say. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm shocked. So inversely, like weirdly, perversely, because of his whiteness, I admire this even more. It's like John Brown. You remember John Brown, right?
Mhm.
And for people who don't know, John Brown was actually, a white man who fought and died to end slavery. Like he tried to start a revolution and believed in his whole heart he had to give up his life to end slavery, right? And so that's why I admire Aaron. But Aaron doing this, if Aaron was black, if it was Blairin, if it was Arabius, if Aaron was black, I would be extremely pissed because we got so many things going on with us right now. A black woman was literally shot in the back by the police a few days ago. The boy Daryl, he got kicked out of school. The judge ruled against him because of his locks. There are so many things happening with our people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see. I understand. Like you would be mad, as in like you didn't do this for us, but you're doing it for them. Type of mad.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. Um, yeah, so we're about to cut this live stream short. I'm gonna blow through some comments very quickly. All right.
I don't
Uh,
that, but go ahead.
you don't recommend it? I can blow through it really quickly. I'm gonna give like 1 or 2 word responses. So Nelson Moreno says, "Salad, have you ever been called the N word since you were 5 years old and randomly on the street?" Yes. Not that all of Black experiences are about dealing with anti-Black racism, but that is a big part of it. And as a Arab or white adjacent person, you will most likely not have to deal with that. The cases of anti-Arabness, anti-Muslimness, xenophobia, whatever. These cases are few and far between, and they are often when people reveal their identity. Most of the time, these guys have the ability to blend in. Dill pickle salad. By the way, this is how I know. God, who eats dill pickles? Acti, do you like salad? Do you like salad and pickles that much to like make a dill pickle salad or name yourself that?
I don't know what is a dill pickle salad. I do like pickles and I like salad separately, but I don't know what that combination is.
Yeah.
How
All
can you
right. So
salad out?
yeah, yeah. Anyway, Dill Pickle Salad said, "My family don't own stores in the hood. That's a very small percentage of people. That probably explains why you live in poverty." That explains even more. Wow. Dill pickle salad. I don't know how that makes me illiterate if I don't vote. Dill pickle salad. Black Americans, like my ancestors, literally fought for the opportunity for not only your people to come to the United States, but have the ability to vote. If it weren't for our ancestors fighting for the 14th and 15th Amendment, and also for naturalization for people that are born in the United States, your Arab ass would not be able to even hold a U.S. passport, let alone vote. So you need to exercise your right to vote. It is very important for you to exercise your right to vote because, newsflash, the white supremacists that you're palling around with in Louisiana don't want your brown ass to vote. So even if you vote for Trump, use it, use it, use it. Use whatever opportunities you have because there are tons of people who want to make it harder for people like you and me to vote. But apparently, in your mind, it's not important, right? This shows the disrespect that so many immigrants have towards Black Americans because they don't even appreciate the rights that we fought for them to have. Dill Pickle Salad said, I don't know anyone that owns stores in the hood, and don't act like you know anything about my city or the South. You don't know how we live here. We don't entertain this crap. Dill Pickle Salad, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm from Monroe, Louisiana. I studied at Loyola University in New Orleans. If you don't believe me, you can go check their records, class of 2013. I am a college graduate. Unlike you, sir, you're illiterate, you're ignorant, you're stupid as hell, and you're dumb. I don't know how you live there. Yes, there is a ton of racism in Louisiana, and especially in New Orleans. New Orleans has a special history as being one of the places that the Confederate Army gained most of their support, and many statues and many monuments to people who owned other people and also fought for other people to have the rights to own other people. They built many monuments to those sick bastards who try to overthrow the U.S. I'm sorry, Acti. I'm blowing through these very quickly. Sorry, sorry. Are you tired?
No, I'm just tired of dill pickle salad.
Dill pickle salad. He said, that's Chicago and New York. That's where the racism is at. If you're south of the Canadian border, you're in the South. Uh, your anti Arab speech is very oppressive. I didn't oppress anybody. I just expressed myself, just like how the Arabs expressed their disdain for black people by calling us monkeys, slaves, to this very day in the Arabic language. Dill pickle salad, I'm saying I'm blacker than you. And number one, that is anti black racism. That is anti black racism saying that you are blacker than another black person because you live in proximity to blackness or you live in poverty and ignorance, because you are equating the two, and the two are not the same. You are ignorant, you are poor, you are stupid, but that doesn't mean I am because I'm black. Acti, go ahead.
I just want to say that's like me as a Turkish person who's a Muslim, let's say, saying that I am more Arab than you because I live in Europe.
Right. Or you
Just-
live in the or you lived in the Middle East. You're Turkish, but you're more Arab than him because you lived in the Middle East, right?
or something. Yeah,
All right.
exactly like that.
All right, dill pickle salad is just trolling to this point, but it's fun trolling and it's good to get off. A black man calling himself an American, typical Yank. You don't represent black people. I never said I represented black people. I represent myself, and I also represent my ancestors who were black Americans who built the United States of America. So, yeah, I do identify as an American. I do have my passport, my nationality, though I am not proud of my nationality. FXD, about Palestine, everything is interconnected from any perspective because it always repeats. FXD is Jesus. He's speaking in parables. These are Bible quotes.
I know. He's like philosophy.
um, Dill Pickle Salad said, LOL, I love how you assumed my parents work at a corner store. Yeah, I probably assumed that because you were speaking like the anti black Arabs who do work at corner stores behind bulletproof glass, saying all sorts of anti black racial slurs about our people while you continue to serve alcohol and then want to greet us with salam alaikum. Uh, Blackout FPV, Aaron is a coward. Who the hell sets themselves on fire if you're in your right mind? We would argue, I think we came to this conclusion that what he did was noble. And while he might have been crazy to do it, it does come from a place of wanting to be on the right side of history. That's how I would answer that. How would you answer that?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I don't think he's a coward because, like, a coward cannot set themselves on fire. That's a hard thing to do. Specifically, like we said, why? Because it's for people that he doesn't know. He doesn't have the similar religion. He doesn't have the same skin color or whatever. So that's why we thought it was noble that he gave up his privilege as a white American and did it. But we definitely don't glorify it. We definitely don't think like it's healthy, obviously. But yeah, there's still some strength to it because it's not suicide, it's political protest.
Hmm. Right, right. Last two comments I'll read. Dill Pickle Salad said Turkish people are also very anti Arab. I would agree with that. And guess what? Anti Arabness is wrong. Discrimination against all people is wrong. Xenophobia is wrong. Nationalism is wrong. Hating other people because of their background is wrong. Acty, would you agree?
Of course, of course. And yes, there is a lot of like discrimination against Arabs in Turkey, which is once again wrong. But you're doing the same thing, Dill Pickle.
Right, right, right. All right, Blackout FPV. I don't know where these right wing trolls are coming from. It's so sad to see right wing people on my channel. Hey guys, if you don't know this, I am a communist. I am a literal communist. So if you don't want to hear these sort of takes, please go to like all the right wing points. In fact, I have a good one I'll suggest. Red Eagle Politics. I'm gonna suggest this for everybody. I can't write it into the chat. Go to this YouTube channel titled Red Eagle Politics. It has all the crazy right wing conspiracies that you would love and be into and stuff like that. Please, please go there. Get off of this channel. I am a communist. In fact, for the next few live streams, I might only talk about Marxist theory and that sort of stuff. Oh, God, this is so sad. Uh, Blackout FPV, he was a liberal anyways, one less idiot to vote for Joe Biden. As if he should vote for Trump, I guess. Blackout FPV, how is it not suicide? He killed himself. No, he did kill himself. Nobody's not disputing that it wasn't suicide. The idea is that what was the purpose of it? And the purpose of it was to bring attention to an issue that is very, very important genocide. Nelson Moreno, burning themselves is crazy, but many people go die in dumb ways, dumb wars. How isn't that crazy? Exactly, right? If he went and died for Israel, nobody would have said that's crazy.
Yeah.
But because he died for Palestine, because he died on the side of the oppressed, that's crazy. And I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for watching, everybody, and peace.